Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Chaperone, your favorite artist. Hello, I'm Somi, and I want to talk about the 12 signs in the zodiac. I'm just going to tell you very beginner stuff and what I feel about them and their significance and everything. I also have this astrology book I recently bought. It has really pretty pictures. So since I don't know good editing, I'm not going to even try. I'm just going to show you pictures from this book. So yeah. So let's start with Aries. The sign goes like this: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. And I also think that you can see a person's life in different stages of a person's life through these 12 signs. Aries being when you are born, being the youngest, and Pisces is when you're super old and close to death. So I also feel the same about the houses, the 12 houses in astrology, but of course, there are still some differences. They're not exactly same. But, anyways, let's go. Let's start with Aries. Okay, Aries is the first sign. Its element is fire. The ruling planet is Mars. The symbol is of a ram. Let me see if I have any good pictures. But yeah, the dates, according to tropical astrology, I could be wrong, but it's March 21st to 19 of April. Yeah, but I could be wrong. Like just about the dates. I'm not very mathematical, and I looked up like a random Pinterest page. So, yeah. But let's talk about Aries. This is the ram animal, and it is considered to be the youngest sign, the most childish sign or childlike sign. And it's a fire element sign and it's ruled by Mars. So it has a lot of fiery energy because Mars is also considered a very fiery planet. So the sign is very hot headed, very passionate. They like to take actions. They're more connected to their inner child, or they have this childlike wonder to for the world. And they could be impulsive, they could be immature, um, but in my own experience I have seen that they're really helpful, they're really nice and friendly as well. But I don't know if it's just because there's some coincidence that all the people, helpful, nice friends I made have some Aries in them, or it's something like, I don't know. But in my experience, I've always seen them as really helpful, like, those helpful colleagues who are going to like be there and listen to you and like uh, help you. Like they're not going to give you so much emotional support or all their money, so like not those kind of helpful people that becomes like a charity, but people who are really helpful. It's like in their nature, and they're really good at leading people, even though stereotypically or archetypically Leos and Aquariuses have been considered as leaders. But I think Aries, they also have this really good leader quality because they're so helpful. They listen. So, yeah. But yeah, they have a lot of passion. They are really competitive. Not everyone might show their Ariesness if they're an Aries. Everyone might show it differently, but they're definitely very passionate. They can be very sexually charged, and yeah, that's it. Mostly. They can be selfish and aggressive, short tempered, really brave, courageous, confident. I think all fire signs are very confident, because fire signs, let's talk about fire signs. They are full of actions. They are very action oriented. They are very much led by their desires and passions, and they are very sure of themselves, that they might not have a lot of self esteem issues. So that's Aries for you. Now let's move on to Taurus. Now, Taurus season comes from April 20th to May 20th, if this Pinterest thing isn't wrong. And if in Aries, like when I talked about the stages of life, Aries is when you are born and you're a child. Then Taurus is when you grow up a little and then you get a sense of possessions. You get a sense that, okay, this is my parent, and then this parent feeds me, which I need. So that's what I value. Okay, this is my toy, that's what I value. And that's Taurus for you, basically. They're ruled by the element of Earth and the planet of Venus. So they're very much connected to earthly desires like money, love, luxuries, and stuff, because Venus is a planet of love, relationships, harmony, materialistic needs and wants and desires. So that's Taurus for us. And their sign is bull, or a person on a bull, but yeah, mostly a bull. Isn't that a cute picture? Let's see more. Uh, yeah, so they are led by Earth. So they're going to be really smart when it comes to materialistic stuff, materialistic subjects like money and land and assets and possessions. And because they're led by Venus, they also have an eye for beauty. And it's an earth sign. Earth signs are always very practical. They are hardworking. They are good when it comes to materialistic things, not like materialistic in a bad way, but material world, like money, possessions, beauty. So, yeah, and because Venus controls two signs, Taurus and Libra, I kind of differentiate them like this. So, Taurus is about harmony in nature and enjoying the beauty of nature, where Libras are more about political beauty, or beauty that's controlled by humans and politics, basically. So, like the current beauty standards, the ideal body type, the ideal face shape, and stuff like that. They're both very creative, though. It's just that Taurus is more about the natural beauty, and Libra is more about the human beauty. So they both seek harmony, but Taurus seeks harmony in nature and with their own nature. These people are really good with their own, like they know themselves. They know how their body works. They know how, what makes them tick, what doesn't. I'm sorry, I'm being so confusing. Let's read their strengths on this. Reliable, sensual, loyal, trustworthy, nurturing, practical, dedicated. Yes, most of them make sense. They're very sensual because they're ruled by Venus. Reliable because they are very practical. So you can rely on this person because they're practical. They're not going to do something that's illogical. So Loyal, I'm not sure. It's not a very famous quality of Taurus, but maybe they can be like loyal people of society, loyal people of as friends. I don't know about lovers, but maybe because they're Venus ruled. Trustworthy, I don't know, could be nurturing, because nurturing not in a Cancer way, but in a way probably that is like, yeah, I'm gonna provide you a home, even though I get it. Cancer is the more home related, but still. Practical, because they're an earth sign. Dedicated, because these people are very, Taurus people are very resilient and very hardworking. They're also very stubborn, famously. Uh, so these are their strengths. Now let's look at the weakness. Stubborn, possessive, materialistic, self absorbed, lazy, uncompromising, overindulgent. These also make sense. They are stubborn, but I don't think stubborn is a bad thing. Like it's all about the context and nuance. Possessive, they do have a really good connection and really good idea about possessions, because possessions are so earthly, but also Venusian, because it's what most of us desire. So, materialistic, sure. Self absorbed, maybe it goes back to when I said they know themselves so much better than other people. They're confident. So, maybe in that way, if that becomes too much or negative, if that becomes a negative trait, like a bad Taurus, lazy, I don't know, but they do love comfort. They do love the comforts the world provides. So, the luxuries of the world, because it's a Venus related sign, and then Earth makes it even more earth bound. So, uncompromising and overindulgent, I think overindulgence becomes same with materialistic and possessive things, like it relates to that. And uncompromising, I don't know, maybe because they know themselves so much better, and if somebody's like, hey, I think you should do that, they're going to be like, no, that doesn't make sense. So maybe in that way. Now let's come to Gemini. Gemini is the third sign, and it's, to me, according to me, the stage. Like, I didn't come up with this theory, but it is still something that I came up with. Like, I've heard a lot of other people describe this, and when I heard them, I was like, okay, yes, makes sense. But it's also, I'm saying basically it's something I believe in. You don't have to. So, Gemini, May 21st to June 21st. I could be wrong again. It's an air sign controlled or ruled by Mercury, and the sign, its imagery or symbol is two people holding hands, and in some cultures it's supposed to be twins, and in some cultures it's supposed to be partners. So, uh, I don't know. It could be both, and it's the phase of our life when we grow up a little. We, like, okay, in Aries we were born, and in Taurus we realize possessions, like this is my toy, this is the person who feeds me, which is something I value. uh, Gemini is when we start to realize that, okay, this person is my sister, this person is my brother, this person is our nanny, this person is my mother. So, like, they start realizing relationships and members in their house, in their society. And air signs, to me, they are very much connected with, one, human connections, and two, uh, adjusting or embracing or creating change in society. So they have a relationship with change and humans. And because it's ruled by Mercury, they are going to be very communicative, because Mercury is the ruler of communication, or the planet of communication and understanding or reasoning and analyzing, and our like how smart, like what makes us smart, what makes us navigate through life. That's a Mercury thing. So yeah, Gemini people, they're the kind of human connection they like is our nearest people, our family, our friends, our neighbors, and they are very communicative. They love communicating. People call them as like very gossipy. They will know more than you about your neighborhood or what's going on in the media, because it's all about communication. These people make really good writers, singers, storytellers, those kind of people. And about the imagery, whether it's twins or partners, I think it's about finding yourself, because Geminis are always about other people, human connection, and that could kind of distance them from themselves, or they're so focused on the other parties because they don't know much about themselves. So it's like a whole thing that they have to balance. I think each sign has their own mission. And for Gemini, it's finding yourself, having a balanced relationship with yourself, with your inner self, with your lower self, higher self, shadow self, inner child, all of these things. So let's read their strengths. Optimistic, charismatic, friendly, intelligent, witty, curious, adaptable. Okay, that's all. Yeah, so these are their strengths. Now, optimistic, I don't know, but they are so full of ideas. So maybe that they're so optimistic that all of their ideas and all of the projects will work. So maybe that's why. Charismatic, because they're really talkative, so they know how to retain someone's attention. Friendly, probably because they're so communicative. Probably that's why they said that. Witty, because yes, they are very smart and knowledgeable. Uh, So Mercury and Mercury ruled signs are knowledgeable. They are really good about the worldly knowledge and intelligence and intellect, where Jupiter kind of becomes the spiritual knowledge or wisdom, the heavenly celestial part of knowledge. So uh, curious, yes, because they're about knowledge. So like, you wouldn't have a lot of knowledge if you're curious and you just stop. So adaptable, because like I said, they are connected to change and human connections, so they have to adapt or adjust or create changes. So now weaknesses: superficial, flaky, indecisive, impulsive, devious, toxic, two-faced. Maybe the two-faced thing comes from the imagery. A lot of people hate on this sign. And two-faced could be because they are like, Mercury is a very dual nature kind of planet. And because it's ruled by Mercury, that kind of becomes a very dual nature. Like they're going to have more than two desires, more than one desires, more than one ideas. They are always multitasking or thinking about multiple things at once. And sometimes they want to do this, the next minute they would want to do something else. So that's why, maybe that's why two-faced. Toxic, but in what sense? I don't know, because every sign can be toxic in their own way. Devious, maybe because like the flaky I get, like flaky, yes, because they're saying something or doing something else. So okay, then let's move on. Yeah, and as we move on, I would like to show you some cute Gemini pictures. Oh no, there's nudity here. Okay. Gemini pictures. Sorry for the bad quality of the camera and everything else. More Gemini. Okay, now let's move on to the fourth sign. In this stage, the child starts to realize that this is my home and this is my playground, and like they start becoming aware of different places. They start having relationships with these places, like, okay, that's what I feel, that's how I feel about my house, that's how I feel about my school, my daycare, whatever. And this sun stays in the sign during June 21st and July 22nd ish. Again, I could be wrong. And its ruling element is water, and ruling planet is moon, and the symbol is a crab. So the sign there, the archetypically the sign is really emotional, really tied to their emotion, not in a bad way, but just in a neutral way. Like there's, if you're a shitty cancer, then maybe in a bad way. If you're a really good cancer, but it's just like nuance, people, nuance. So uh, yeah, they're really much connected to their emotions and their feelings, because the moon is the planet of our psyche and our emotion, and the element of water is also connected to very similar things. That's why even in a lot of religions and cultures, the moon and the water are deeply connected. Like the relationship with the tides and everything. So yeah, it's a sign of our heart and emotions and our intuition. This sign is very motherly, because it's the moon is considered to be like the mother of the planets. It's like they're very nurturing, they're very motherly, they're really, I don't know, they just make you feel nice, they make you feel at home, they're really good lovers. Not in all case, but I'm just giving you the very beginner knowledge, very that, so let's look at their strengths and weaknesses. Nurturing, intuitive, kind, loyal, protective, compassionate, and creative. So let's look at creative. Yeah, because moon and water, the water signs are always creative. They're very creative, they're intuitive, even spiritual, and they're all related to emotions. Also, I think Cancer is also about memories, because it's an emotion somehow, like the emotion of nostalgia, feelings, sensations, and stuff, and also sleep. They're nurturing because they're motherly, and in my own understanding, I don't know if it was my own understanding or one of the YouTubers I watched, but the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, are divided into different bodies of water. So Cancer is a sweet water river because it's nurturing to humans. Like we read about those ancient civilizations always making sure that there's a river nearby so that they can get sustenance. So that's why also, uh, I don't know about every religion, but in Hinduism, rivers has been they have been considered to be goddesses and mothers and mother goddesses. So because they're so nurturing and they give sustenance to us. So intuitive, because yes, they are intuitive because they're a moon and a water sign. So yeah, loyal, I am not sure, but they should be, because they are really good at relationships. So but I think their relationshipness or their need to love or need to be loved comes with a tiny bit uh, comes with a tiny bit transactional nature. Like they're like, okay, I'm gonna give you love if you're going to give it back to me, or I'm gonna give you this if you give that back to me. Because cancers are always crabs. They're always looking for those tiny shells, and they're always looking for a home. So cancer people are also looking for a sense of home and comfort and security. That's why they can also be very protective, because not only they're looking for security, they can also provide security. They're compassionate because, again, feelings and emotions, they have a better understanding of these things. And they are creative because they're a water sign and connected to moon and water. They're both very creative. And also, like, if you understand your emotions and feelings, you can express them too. So weakness: secretive, insecure, jealous, moody, overly sensitive, manipulative, clingy. They could all make sense because it's all about emotions. If your emotions are too intense and you do not know how to deal with them, you can be very sensitive. You can get triggered very soon. You can get jealous because the person you want to love, who you want love from, is not giving you that. Moody because, again, emotions, and the moon is also a very shifty planet. It changes its signs, its phases, degrees, everything very quickly. It changes its sign every 2.5 or 2 to 3 days. So that's why. Also, to me, Mercury and moon, they control our brain. So they're like just two sides of our brain, where Mercury is the reasonable, uh, practical, and calculative, analytic side of our brain. Then Moon is the emotional, feely kind of our brain. So these are just two different sides of our brain, Moon and Mercury. Okay, so that's Cancer. Uh, wow, 27 minutes. Leo. Now we have Leo, the fifth sign, July 23rd to August 22nd. The element is fire, the planet is sun, and the symbol is of a lion. Um, I think if I connect it with the fifth house, Leo is when we, okay, so in Gemini, we understood relationships like our siblings, our parents, our friends, our nannies and teachers, and you know, then in Cancer, we understand our home, and then we understand that to get all of these things, we have to express ourselves. That's why it's the sign of expression. That's why this sign makes really good actors. What are those called? Like musical actors, like Wicked. Whoa. So those people, and this sign is also connected with royalty and leaders, especially the leader that's more in power. The powerful leader, the powerful king. Like how lions are considered to be the kings of the jungle. Now, I don't know if that's actually true, because I read this theory or saw a TikTok that um, people used to say that tigers are king of the jungles, but ancient Romans, they had this obsession with male lions or something. Like, I don't know. You do your own research, please. So yeah, so these people, they're also called to be like drama queens. They're very self-centered, narcissistic, but these are just like very stereotypically related things. to the sign. And I think they say it because it's a fire sign. It's our second fire sign. The first one was Aries, but the planet that rules Aries is Mars. That's why they're even more fiery. But this fire, which is ruled by Sun, which is a planet of regality, or like how Sun is always considered or connected with God. That's why it's like a little, and how it's considered royal. That's why it's a little calm. It's like a fire that's not so violent. Um, so I forgot my point, but let's just look at the strengths. Oh yeah, sorry, the drama thing. They're very self-confident. They have a really good sense of self, like all the other fire signs. So that's why they're very confident. They That's why they can come off as, vain or self-centered and stuff. And they are really good at retaining people's attention. So, like, either with their speech or with their clothes or their actions, whatever they do, they know how to make people look, or how to make people listen to them. That's why they're called, like, attention seekers and drama queens, because they're just really good at it. That's why a lot of actors, a lot of celebrities, a lot of politicians, especially the strong ones, they're all very Leo personalities. Weaknesses are here. Look, by the way, when I say weaknesses and strength, I'm not saying like this is like Bible. So just like believe it, and just, you know, nuance. Okay, weaknesses are vain, attention seeking, stubborn, egotistical, possessive, self absorbed, melodramatic. So they love people's attention because they love expressing themselves. It's a sign of expression. They love self expression. And that's why if it goes over the top, people can be like, oh my God, everything is always about you. So, yeah. Now let's go to Virgo, the sixth sign. And sixth sign, it's also connected with the sixth house. So we can see, like, the child learned self-expression, and now it's time to create routines, because, like, the fifth sign, and if we connect fifth sign with the fifth house, it is the house of uh, hobbies and our things we do for feeling better. So hobbies and habits. Uh, so like when the child learned, okay, like I love playtime, I love doing this, I love doing that, I love playing with my crayons. Virgo is when they have to realize that you also have to do other things that you might not love. So if if the fifth house and the fifth sign is about hobbies, then the sixth house and the sixth sign, which is Virgo, becomes about habits, daily habits, daily chores that we have to do every day to keep our house clean, to be healthy, you know. Okay, so Virgo is August 23rd to September 22nd, ruled by Earth and Mercury. Now it is our second Earth sign and our second Mercury sign. The first Mercury sign was Gemini, and the first Earth sign was Taurus. So, like all the Earth signs, Virgo is also very practical, very grounded, very based on reality. And it is also very communicative, but they don't come off as flaky or gossipy or too much, because uh, they are Mercury, so communication led, yes, but they're also very practical about it. That's why instead of being overflown with ideas, they love to analyze and criticize. So if a Gemini comes to a Virgo, I think of Gemini and Virgos as siblings. So if Gemini is like, oh my God, I have this idea, let me tell you this idea, then Virgo is going to be like, okay, I love your idea, but this thing in your idea is not really practical, and this thing isn't practical, you cannot do it because you don't have enough money, or you shouldn't do it like that, you should do it like this, let me tell you how to do it, so they embed their, I don't know if it's the right word, but they diffuse their reasoning and their practicality into things. This sign is also connected with medicines and herbs and healing. Even the imagery of the sign, it's a maiden, or like a pure maiden, because the sign is also about being pure or being healing. It's also connected with all the pure light coded goddesses and deities like Demeter, Diana, Madonna, so Parvati, all those really, soft, nice, motherly goddesses. And the imagery shows a maiden, but many imagery shows a maiden coming from the sea or some water body, holding stuff, like coming on a boat to land, to like with herbs and medicines and grain. That's why it's also a sign of fertility. Oh my God, I'm speaking too much and making no sense. Yeah, so they love to analyze. They can be really good teachers, because you have to analyze a lot. You have to criticize a lot. If you're teaching somebody anything, you have to tell them how they did something wrong. So that's criticism. That's why if a Virgo being bad can be very overcritical. So it's their own thing that they have to balance their criticism. They have to balance where they should be critical, and where they can just let it go. They can be perfectionists, because why are they criticizing? So that something is perfect, something has no flaws. So that's also something they deal with, like, am I being too perfectionist or not? Things like that. Now let's look at their strengths. Practical, hardworking, loyal, reliable, analytical, intelligent, trustworthy. Okay. Like practical, they're practical, hardworking. I don't know if it's like a very famous sign that is hardworking. Everyone could be hardworking, but a hardworking especially is connected with Taurus. So uh, they are analytical, yes, and they are intelligent, yes, and trustworthy, yes, because they're so practical. And all of these things because they're Mercury based. So weakness is judgmental, overly critical, perfectionist, irritable, obsessive, overthinking, fussy. Yeah, these all things make sense. Now let me show you some pictures of Virgo. Where's Virgo? Virgo. Okay. Yes. Oh, that's Virgo. Okay. Some pictures of Virgo, if you can see. Some more pictures. Like Virgo is always shown as like a maiden, a girly girl. Not like a typically girly girl, but like in old paintings, like a very woman, girl, maiden, pure virgin. That's why, like in some languages, it's called the virgin or the virgin. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but you know what I mean. This. Okay, my butt hurts from sitting. Now let's move on to the seventh sign, Libra. It goes on from, so when I say it goes on or it's season, what I mean is the sun, the planet sun comes into the sign and leaves the sign between this period. That's what I mean. September 23rd to October 22nd. Now, again, I could be wrong. Just check on Google, check it yourself. Uh, Element air, so our second air sign. Planet Venus, our second Venus sign. The strengths: charming, sociable, loving, diplomatic, adaptable, empathetic, kind. Weaknesses: people pleasing, indecisive, superficial, vain, dependent, conflict avoidant, overly sensitive. Okay, so in Leo, we learned self expression, and in Virgo, we learned how to help others, how to help ourselves with healthy decisions and criticism and analyzing, with habits, with daily chores, brushing our teeth every day, things like that. Then in Libra is where we go out and we start having relationships that are not Gemini but Libra, which is partners, romantic and sexual partners, really close friendships. Uh, the sign is also related to contracts. So if we are hiring someone or we are being hired or employed, so things like that, because if we connect it to the seventh house, that's how. And the imagery is a scale, the thing we measure stuff with or used to measure stuff with in the olden times. I kind of sounded like Wilhelmina Slater just now. Mark, that is absolutely hideous. Someone's getting a raise. Okay, I butchered it, but whatever. Let me show you Libra. I just want to show you the scale. Can you see the scale? This person is holding the scale. We used to use this to measure stuff. So they would put some metal or stones one side of a certain weight and then put vegetables on the other, and they'd be like, okay, yeah, this is 5 kg. So that's what Libras are about: balance. They're always struggling or pursuing balance. And because it's an air sign, they are again very focused on human connections. So how Geminis were concerned about their friend circles, their close people, their family, being focused on that kind of human connection. This sign is more about one-to-one human connection, very monogamous sign, in my opinion. That's why they're very concerned about their lovers, because conventionally people only have one lover. So, just focusing on this one person at a time kind of a relationship, that's what they're amazing with. And because Venus, again, it's love, so that's affecting their human connection, that's making it one-to-one with lovers and partners. So they're always great at finding harmony with people. That's why they can be really good diplomats and politicians. And they are very adaptable because, again, their relationship with changes. So I've seen a lot of Libras being really good at adjusting and adapting to different people and different people's lifestyles and their plans. They're really adaptable because air is just very airy. So, and because it's an air sign, people also think that air sign, but it's Venus. So perfumes, which makes the air smell great. So, that amazing perfume smell. That's why people also say that they love buying perfumes. So, and these people, again, they can be really creative and really focused on the beauty that's trending. They know everything that's trendy. They know fashion, they know art, they know people. They are very Kelly Kapoor, in my opinion. Kelly Kapoor reminds me of a very Libra person, but also a Gemini, because she loves talking. So, who would be another good Libra person in celebrity terms? Oh my God. I don't know. Let's move on. So their weaknesses are vain and superficial. Yes, because they do mold themselves according to the other person. And when then they go to the other, like someone else, they will mold themselves or express themselves according to that person. So which makes people think that, oh, did I just say ho? No, like, hey, Freudian slip. Sorry. They're like, hey, I thought you liked that. And they're like, no, it was because I just was trying to please that person. So they can be people pleasing because they love being with people so much. Like their mental health depends on people. So, of course, they're going to adjust themselves according to people. You know, when you were teenagers and you had this favorite celebrity, and that celebrity is like, I'm Niall Horan and I love going to Nando's, then you would be like, oh my God, I love Nando's. You know, so things like that. Dependent, yes, dependent on people. Conflict avoidant because they think of conflicts as something that could make or break a friendship or just break. So that's Libra. Libra. Ah, I'm just going to drink some water and take a break. I'm pausing my video, but I'm back. My throat is lubricated. I'm refreshed. Now let's look at Scorpio. 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 Some pretty pictures of Scorpio. I don't know if it's still Scorpio. Let me know if I accidentally turned to Sagittarius. Scorpio. Scorpio, a very dark sign, a very emo, gothic, slutty, sexy sign. It goes on from October 23rd to November 21st, but just to remind you for the 100th time or 8th time, I could be wrong with dates. Ruling planet is Mars, and ruling element is water. So do you see the conflict? It's already started. Water is so water, but then Mars is so fire, so vapors. The imagery is of a scorpion, the insect, the pretty one. So the strengths, let's read the strength. Ambitious, loyal, wise, dedicated, fearless, passionate, mysterious charm. Weakness is possessive, jealous, vengeful, manipulative, secretive, stubborn, controlling. Okay. Okay. So in Libra, we were like, let's fall in love. And then and then in Scorpio, you understand why relationships can be so hard to maintain. In Scorpio, the child, the person, the teenager, the like whatever their age is, they experience heartbreak. So they know better now, but they're still kind of, like they're still learning. They're still learning the dangers of love. And the conflict is always there because they're very passionate, they're very intense because they're ruled by Mars, but they're also all about emotions. So instead of being action oriented, they're very feeling or emotion oriented. And that's why they're very mysterious, because Aries, which was the first sign for that's ruled by Mars, they were out there. If they're passionate, if they're angry, if they're aggressive, if they're loving, whatever they are, they're just going to express it. They're just going to do it right away. But in Scorpio, it's that aspect of Mars that goes on inside ourselves. That's why they're so mysterious and secretive, because they're feeling it, they're not showing it. That's why people find them really sexy, because they're so mysterious. They're not yappers like you and I, or maybe just I. Um, so yeah. Um, and in Scorpio people, or wherever Scorpio is in your chart, it also shows that in that area of your life you have some self-esteem issues. That's why you're not able to express so clearly. Maybe you're worried that the other person might not receive your expression, or anything you want to do or feel or did in a good way. They might not receive you positively. So, to protect your feelings and your emotions, you hide it. uh, a YouTuber I really like, an astrologer I really like, they're both. They said that when Mars rules a sign, Aries becomes like that soldier who's fighting on the ground, on the war zone. But Scorpio becomes that captain, that strategic captain who is strategizing, who is making secret plans so that they win. That's why it's secretive. People also say like Scorpios are like peeling an onion. You have to spend some time and some efforts to get to the core. It's hard to get to know them very easily. But because they're connected with the eighth house, they're also very intuitive, because again, water sign, intuitive and emotional and spiritual, but in a dark sense, because they have this very dark emo gothic energy, so occult related spirituality. And I saw a really good TikTok, don't judge me, but I saw a really good TikTok which explained something, that Libra is a scale. So the sign on the left of Libra is Virgo, the lightness, the pureness, the virginness. But then to the right of Libra is this dark sign, this slutty, sexy, mysterious sign. So if Virgo is Parvati, Madonna, Diana, all these, soft, motherly, light goddesses, then Scorpio becomes Hecate, Kali, Persephone, Anubis, these dark deities. And that's how also one of like the biggest mission for Libras is balance, but also balancing their light and dark sides, their lower and higher selves, you know. Um, So that's they are, and because they're Martian, they are full of intense anger, and that's why they're called vengeful, because take you don't take revenge just all of a sudden. You plan it and then you do it. That's why. Now, Sagittarius. Oh my god, I just realized instead of pausing my video, I just started another one. But I can just join them, right? Okay. Sagittarius, uh, fire sign. Oh wow, the infographic I have, it says Earth, but it's not an Earth sign. Anyways, it's a fire sign, and the ruling planet is Jupiter. First Jupiter planet, great. Like first Jupiter sign. Um, it goes on from November 22nd and December 21st. I could be wrong. Again, to repeat myself. The imagery is of a bow shooting an arrow, or a person shooting an arrow, or a centaur. This, like, you always see a centaur, but some people also say that it's a person sitting on a horse shooting an arrow, but it could be anything. Um, Strengths: enthusiastic, free spirited, optimistic, adventurous, wise, curious, honest. Weaknesses: impulsive, flaky, bossy, overly direct, opinionated, reckless, and committed. What? Commitment phobe. Okay. Okay. So it's a fire sign. So again, they are going to be very confident. They are going to be very sure of themselves, and they're going to be passionate. But because it's ruled by Jupiter, it's our third and the last fire sign. The first one was ruled by Mars, so very intense, aggressive. Then the second one was ruled by Sun, so they're calm and regal. But this one is very wisdom whore. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, yes, but also spiritual wisdom, our relationship with the celestial realms, spirituality, religion. And because it's ruled by fire, they are very intense about these things, about their own principles, their religious beliefs, their spiritual beliefs. They can also be very preachy. Like a fire spreads, they try to spread their beliefs with the world. They want to share it, but because they're so intense, because fire signs, they become like preachy. Like religious missionaries, like, hey, join our church, Jesus loves you, they're amazing, Jesus is amazing, Jesus is gonna love you so much, oh my god. So think people like them. I'm not saying anything bad about them, but I'm not just saying anything good about them either. So anyways, yeah, because they're Jupiterian, they love wisdom, spirituality, religion. I think I already said that, sorry. And they are also about being free and being liberated, because that's also one of the spiritual qualities. That's why they're going to be very focused on their freedom, and they're very focused on being liberated from things that do not make sense to them. They're also commitment phobe, as the infographic said, because commitments, they do bind people to different extents. Marriages, it's a bond, it's a contract, it's a promise. So that's why they can run away from ideas like this, commitment in marriages. Not all Sagittariuses, of course, but they love running away from things that are keeping them from pursuing what they actually want. They're also very reckless and adventurous, because again, it's a type of liberation you feel with adventures. I'm just gonna turn on my lights, because again, I ended the video accidentally instead of just pausing it, but okay. Do you see this avocado? I put it on the radiator because it's closer to the window, so there's more sunlight, so it ripens fast. I don't know if it actually works or not, but I hope it does. Also, don't worry, the radiator, it's not on, so there's not going to be anything dangerous. And I just put it there, okay? I'll take it somewhere else. I'll put it somewhere else, so just stop. Okay, now that I'm done scratching my butt, let's continue about Sagittarius. Yes, it's also, if we connect it to the ninth house, it's also about higher studies, because that's when we pursue wisdom. And in Libra we learned relationships, and then in Scorpio we learned how to be better in relationships, or how to find better relations. Self-esteem issues, we evolved from that. And in Sagittarius, that's where we find liberation from relationships, or when we come out of a bad relationship. Also, when instead of being so tied down by earthly matters like relationships or money, family, house, home, we try to pursue something that feels bigger to us, some kind of wisdom or purpose. I think they're also very escapists because they love escaping from things. They love like just running away from things, bad habits like addiction, because they're the best, most easily available kind of an escape. And Netflix, internet, too much of like using anything as a coping mechanism, that is Scorpio. Sorry, Sagittarius. Then we have our 10th house, sorry, sign, 10th sign, Capricorn. It goes the season for the sign, it's from December 22nd to January 19th. And the element is air. I'm sorry, I'm just so like, I don't know. Okay. The element is earth and the ruling planet is Saturn. Okay, according to tropical astrology or Western astrology, they say Neptune, and for Scorpio they say Pluto. But you can consider both. Like maybe Scorpio is ruled by Pluto and Mars, and Capricorn is ruled by Neptune and Saturn. So now the symbology of this sign is, a lot of people know that it's a goat, but it's actually a sea goat, half fish, which, to explain, is our desires, our wishes, our emotions coming out from the sea of consciousness or just our minds and jumping out of that water and being projected into the material world. So basically, our ideas becoming a tangible thing in this realm. Like for example, you have an idea, you want to open this bakery shop, but you've always been thinking about it, never actually doing something. So a Capricorn energy would be like, let's make it happen. Let's do the work. Let's make it real. And that's what makes them so practical, so real, so resourceful. Because it's, again, if you look at it, it's an earth sign, so they're going to be practical and money minded and everything. So now the ruling planets are Neptune and Saturn. Now I don't know a lot about Neptune, but I do know a lot about Saturn. Saturn is like a no bullshit, hard work, karmic planet. Like it's like you're gonna get what you deserve. If you work hard, you get the result. If you don't get shit. So that's what makes the mindset of a Capricorn. They are very goal oriented. That's why they love working. They can be overworkers, they can be workaholics, and yeah. Okay. So yeah, they can be very goal oriented. And I've also seen that Capricorns, they just love getting to their goals or finishing their tasks so much that even if they hire somebody to do something for them, if they're not doing it their own way, they're just going to be like, okay, stop, let me do it myself. Instead of let me show you how you do it, they just do it themselves. They will say like, let me show you, but they actually end up doing it, and the person never actually learns. So it is like Virgo, but Virgo can tell you how to do it. Virgo can show you how you do it, but Capricorns, they just do it. They think that they're telling you, but you never, if there's just one task, they do it for you. You don't learn how to do it. But the Capricorn's like, oh my God, thank God it's done. So yeah, that is Capricorn. Like they don't know, they don't care how precisely something should be done. They just want to do it and finish it. Now let's look at their strengths and weaknesses. Motivated. Why did I say it like that? Okay. Disciplined, practical, confident, loyal, ambitious, resourceful, stubborn, condescending, bossy, secretive, pessimistic, aloof, controlling. Okay, so I think aloof, if a you know a Capricorn, where when they don't give a shit, they can become very aloof, very Piscean or very Gemini, because they don't have anything to worry about. They don't have any task. So if they don't have any task, they can be really fun. But when they have a purpose, when they have a task to complete, they just become like, let me do it. And bossy, because like how I said, like, hey, you're doing it wrong, let me do it for you. So that condescending again, oh yeah, you're not doing it right, let me just do it for you, it's okay. um Motivated, yes, because they're very focused on what they want. They are so focused on creating. They're not considered to be a very creative sign, but they do create a lot. Uh, Capricorn energy can be seen as all our world structures and organizations and strong buildings, because they're just like they're created there. They're like solid foundations and formations and structures on our world. And because it's a Saturn, they love hard work. And because it's a Saturn controlled sign, they focus on creating something that is there for a long time, that is long lived. So confident, practical, disciplined because like you have to be disciplined because you're an earth sign and you need to create, you need to get there, you need to work. So disciplined. Resourceful, yes, because like one way or another I'm going to do this thing, so I have to be resourceful. So for that reason, ow, I hit my wrist with my book. Ooh, look at this pretty Leo picture. Okay, now let me show you some Capricorn pictures. Did I not show you Sagittarius either? Okay, let me show you Sagittarius pictures and then some. Okay, Sagittarius, a centaur, more Sagittarius. Okay, now let's go to Capricorn. Ooh, I love this one. Like it's a goat, but she's also a mermaid. A mermaid goat. Ooh, this is so. And this is so. Yep. Okay, so are we done with Capricorn? Yeah, I think. Let me drink some water. Next up, Aquarius. I'm sorry, I forgot to explain about this one thing about Capricorn when we look at it through stages of life. So Libra was relationship, then self-esteem issues and learning how to have better relationship in Scorpio. And then ninth is when we find a bigger purpose or we start college basically because higher education. And then 10th is jobs because job requires us to work, hard work. 10th, Capricorn. You get it now? Let's go to Aquarius now. Goes from Jan 20th to February 18th. So no, it's March, sorry. We're past Aquarius season. Okay. We're in Pisces season now. But anyways, The element is air, and the ruling planet is, wait, Capricorn is, I don't think it's ruled by Neptune. This infographic misled me. I think Capricorn is just Saturn, because I know Neptune is Pisces. So they're fucking with me again. Anyways, Aquarius is ruled by air, our last air sign, and the ruling planets are Uranus and Saturn. Capricorn and Aquarius, they're both ruled by Saturn. And where Capricorn is like, I'm going to bring new structures into the world, I'm going to build rigid structures and organizations and rules that are there for a long time. Aquarius is more like, okay, yes, you created these structures, but they're not working anymore. So let me get rid of them and build a new, better structure or reform the structure. That's why this sign is associated with reforming things, making things better, social work, because this is our last air sign. So, where Gemini is about social circles, like close circles, like friendship and stuff, and Libra is like very focused on partnerships and one to one human connection. For Aquarius, the kind of human connection they like is the global human connection, the society or the whole human network, you know? That's why it's. Uh, That's why Aquariuses are so worried about social structures or societies, structures and organizations, and they're always trying to reform them. That's why they can also be very charitable and very social activisty. But again, anything that represents something can also represent the absence of it. So if an Aquarius is, or the opposite of it. So and if an Aquarius can be really charitable, they can also be people who get a lot of charity. So, and this really great astrologer and YouTuber who I like listening to, they said this one thing about Aquarius, like how they can give a lot to society, but they can also take from society. So like imagine some billionaire or millionaire like Dolly Parton donating a lot to people, and like I laughed because I don't know if she's a billionaire or millionaire, not because I think Dolly Parton is not charitable. Anyways, yeah, so like someone like Dolly Parton giving a lot to people, but then it can also be, or just some shitty billionaire who takes a lot from society, or one of those people who take a lot of loan and then they flee from the country. So that's what the astrologer and YouTuber said, which makes sense to me. Now let's look at their strengths and weaknesses. Innovative, intelligent, unique, open-minded, creative, humanitarian, original, stubborn, aloof, rebellious, inflexible, unpredictable, impulsive, overly sarcastic. Mm. Okay, so innovative because they're trying to build a better structure, bring better things, better the society, you know. Unique because you have to be unique, you have to think different or outside the box if you want to bring change, because air signs are also about change. So open-minded, creative, humanitarian, original, all of these things relate to either helping the society or being unconventional to bring a change in society. Now, Rebellious because, yes, society never changes when you just say it, like trans rights. Society is never going to be like, oh, yeah, definitely, okay, done. You have to say it again and again and again and again. You have to be a rebellious. You have to be a rebellious person, and then you have to protest, and then all of those things. So, yeah, that's Aquarius. It's also our phase, our stage of life when, like, okay, in Capricorn we worked, but now we're rich enough, or we are retired and we have all of this money, so let's give this money to people who actually need it. Let's donate, let's go charity, and people also say the symbology, sorry, I never explained it. The symbol is of a vase or a container full of water or elixir or something nice, and a person bringing it to the earth or giving it to the people or the earth, like putting it on the ground. So it's also very much connected with the tarot card, the star tarot card. So yeah, and many people say it's, if you look at it in a hero's journey perspective, it's when the person finally gets what they want and they bring it to people, they bring it back home, and then they give it to people. So again, charity and donation, and social activism. So yeah, that's Aquarius. Let me show you some cute pictures. I hope they weren't like, I think the last one could have some nudes, but I'm not monetized. And I always label that my videos are not for kids. So, okay. Pisces, the 12th sign, because it's the last sign, they're considered to be the last stage of the life when we're old as fuck and we don't give a shit about the world. We're like very spiritual, or we are very aloof. We just don't care. And this sign is ruled by Jupiter, which is again spiritual and religious sign, but instead, because it's a water sign, not a fire sign who's controlled by Jupiter like Sagittarius, they're not so ambitious about their spirituality. They're not like, let me tell you about Jesus Christ. They're like, okay, yeah, I don't care. I don't care if you want to listen to me or not. I'm just going to practice it for myself. So, like, if Sagittarius is missionaries and Bajrang Dal and Karni Sena, or just nice preachy people, then Pisces could be those monks who live in caves or in isolation, who live alone. You know, that's Pisces for you, because it's also ruled by Neptune. They're also even more spiritual and magical and occulty. And the sign or symbol for the sign is two fishes, because it's related to water, and it's related, like, it's two fishes chasing after itself. So it's like, trying to find yourself or something. And because in the beginning with Cancer, I said every water sign is a water body, and Cancer is a sweetwater river. And Scorpio, which I forgot to tell you, Scorpio is like a swamp where the water is muddy so you can't see anything, but the mud has so many good medicinal qualities that they can heal people. So, like, from darkness, you give birth to something powerful and helpful. Then Pisces becomes the vast ocean, which is so vast that we do not know the end of it. We do not know the depth of it. And it's also considered to be the progenitor of all life everything that we know and have. So that Jupiterian, celestial, godly, heavenly power, that's Pisces. Or that old sage guy, hermit person. Let's look at the strength and weaknesses. Visionary, creative, intuitive, kind, empathetic, generous, wise, oversensitive, indecisive, conflict averse, people pleasing, irrational, dependent, scatterbrained. Okay, so I think because they're so over the material world, they're always constantly more focused about spirituality and philosophy, psychology, just like Sagittarius, but without being so intense about it, without having to share it with the people. They can be conflict averse like that. They're not being conflict averse because they want to please people, they want to keep people happy, so they have a good relationship with them, but they just want peace and they just want to do what they want. So that's why they can be conflict averse, because they don't want to tell people if the people won't let them do what they want, they're going to hide it. And to some extent, relationships are also a theme for water signs, but it's more about emotion, because the people we live with, they are going to affect our relationship, our emotions. So that's why. Now, because it's a water sign, that's why they're very emotional. They are intuitive, spiritual, and because Jupiter and Neptune are also very intuitive and spiritual, and Neptune is a watery planet, so it just everything complements each other. They are visionaries. I think Aquarians are also visionaries, but Pisces are also visionaries, but I guess in different ways. They're like great philosophers, and they're very creative and intuitive, so things like that. And wise, because Jupiter is wisdom. So that's our last sign of Pisces. Let me show you some pictures. Oh my God, look at this. This is for Capricorn, but this is so good. I love it. I would love to have this as a tattoo. Call your girlfriend. It's time you had the talk. Give her reasons. Say it's not your fault, 'cause you just met somebody new. Wow, my voice. Yeah, if you love tattoos and you need tattoo ideas, you should get this book. Not sponsored, but get it. Or steal it. I do not condone stealing for legal reasons, but you should totally do it if it's from, like, shut up. Okay, thank you. I hope this was useful. If this wasn't, then either you're not into astrology or you know too much already. So, and as I said, it's for beginners, so it's not my fault. Ta-ta. Bye-bye. Have a good life.